the Romans, brilliant. They beat everyone in wars and had better helmets. But the most brilliant thing that Romans did, right, was eat and eat until they were full and then sick it all up and then start eating again. Brilliant. And this was like, you know, long before bulimia had even been invented. So they just done it for a laugh. A bit like rugby players. And rugby players, fantastic. In Will Carlin, posh. But Romans, yeah, beat the whole world at war. Except there wasn't much of a world to beat at the time, you know. No Americans or Japs, only Egyptians. You know, Cleopatra and that. Fantastic! She died when a snake crawled up her ass. You think someone would have noticed, wouldn't you? And then they buried her in a pyramid. Aren't pyramids fantastic? How did they build them? Well, they had something about it on that programme, you know. How do they do that? Where they show you how they do it. How they do that. How do they do that? How do they do that? Everything's brilliant, isn't it? It is brilliant, isn't it? Is it? I don't really know. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, everything's brilliant. It's fantastic. And snowboarding, brilliant. It's fantastic, isn't it? It's exactly like sledding, only you stand up and it costs more and you have to go to Switzerland to do it. And you stay in a chalet, which is a cross between an house and a garden shed. Fantastic. But the most fantastic thing about snowboarding is if you have a freak-out day and all the snow melts, you can stay on your board and do surfing. Yeah, brilliant. Ain't surfing fantastic? Ain't David Hasselhoff a little bit too old and a bit podgy to be doing what he's doing, you know, taking his shirt off and running through the waves, you know, battered by the salt spray and that other thing. What's it called? Oh, yeah, spume, yeah. Ain't Pamela Anderson fantastic? I bet she's seen a lot of spume in her time.
It's fantastic, isn't it? You play it in Scotland, and what you do is like hit a little ball with a big stick into a little hole, a long way off, and you can have as many goals as you like. Brilliant! And old men play it, which is brilliant, because, let's face it, they're rubbish at football, aren't they?
Yeah, and you play golf on a green, which is grass.
Brilliant. I mean, imagine what life would be like without grass, you know. All the sheep would die and we'd have no woolly jumpers or lamb chops.
That'd be terrible, wouldn't it? I mean, you know.
Really terrible. And grass snakes would have nowhere to live. Either that or they'd have to change their names to, I don't know, mud snakes or something. Aren't horses fantastic? What they are is like really old-fashioned cars, except they ain't got no windscreen wipers.
Christmas, brilliant. All that food. You know, all them eggs and that. Only joking. That's Easter, when he died.
Man.
Christmas, you know, was when he was born. In a stable. Brilliant. You know, cows and that. Fantastic. Away in a manger. You know, mangers. Brilliant. And shepherds and that, they were there and all. Fantastic. Shepherds are great, aren't they? I've seen them on the telly. You know, the way they call their dogs. Hip, 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 hip. And angels, they're fantastic and all, aren't they? The way they come down from on high. All because of Jesus. And Jesus was brilliant, wasn't he? You know, all them tricks he done. Like turning water into wine. Posh people would have loved him, wouldn't they? But the most brilliant thing about him is, or was, and ever will be, is that he was the Son of God. Imagine that! Fantastic! You know, what does your dad do? Mine's a lorry driver. What's yours do? Mine's a postman. What's your dad, Jesus? My dad is God, the supreme being. Brilliant! I mean, God is your dad. Already got it. He's brilliant, but he's not really small. He's a great big bloke, and they made look small so he could fit on the telly. And they did it with trick photography, which is brilliant. Only they don't call it that no more. They call it special effects, and they're brilliant. Like in Terminator 2. Have you seen it? It's about this bloke who can turn into a puddle and back again. Fantastic. Aren't sequels brilliant? They're the same film with the same title, but a different number, like 2 or 3. Even bad films are great, aren't they? Because at least they try. In the future, all films will be brilliant. In fact, everything will be brilliant in the future, with cars on monorails and brilliant silvery costumes and food in pills and probably some special kind of future can opener. Fantastic. And everything will be done by computers. Aren't computers brilliant? They can do anything. Except play football. Computer wouldn't be no good in goal, but they can do everything else virtually.
In virtual reality, brilliant. Only you wearing that. I tried it with my brother's crash helmet the other day and I fell downstairs. Oh, and hospital's brilliant. Holidays are brilliant, aren't they? The last 2 weeks. 2 weeks! Or one if you want, or even just a weekend. It don't matter. Or if you got time, a month. But maybe that's too long, eh? Anyway, the whole point of them is that you don't have to go to work. If you got a job, that is. And you can go to foreign countries, any of them you like France, or that other one. And you go on a plane. Planes are brilliant, aren't they? Imagine what holidays must be like without them. To get to France would take like years and years, and you'd have had to swim the channel with your suitcases, and your pyjamas would have got all wet. Well, they don't have to happen no more, because you can get on a plane, and that's brilliant. Sound, which is really brilliant. Because that means before you went, you could like shout hello, and when you got there, if you really, really listened, you could probably hear yourself far off and distant, like, hello, like an echo. Hello. And echoes, brilliant. They're not a modern invention. You just shout and it comes back exactly the same. You don't have to do out. The mountain does it all for you. Some mountains are volcanoes and they really are brilliant. Hey, ain't it brilliant these days? The pubs are open all day. Brilliant. They never used to be. It's brilliant, fantastic. You can drink all day. Brilliant. And have you seen them new Photoshops where you can get your pictures developed in like 2 hours? 2 hours? Used to take a week. Brilliant. They're fantastic, aren't they? I've got one, but I don't know how it works. The paint's good, isn't it? You know, all them colours and that. Yeah. Do you know what? In London, they've got these brilliant trains that go under the ground. You don't suffocate on now. Fantastic. What about them animals you can get? You can keep them in your house, and they're all furry, and you can stroke them and make up names for them, and they're called dogs. And smaller ones are called cats. It's brilliant. Everything's just fantastic. Ah, kids, brilliant these days. They're happy just sitting around playing video games. You don't have to worry about them getting run over or out. Fantastic. When I were a kid, I used to get dead bored. My dad used to say that when he were a kid, all I needed were a bit of string. Then he'd hit us round the head. Brilliant, fantastic. No matter what it is, you can get it in a shop, like a magazine or anything, even some milk. Oh, cheesy peas. Aren't cheesy peas brilliant? They're a combination of cheese and peas to form cheesy peas. Brilliant. And you know, if we didn't have shops, you wouldn't be able to buy them. We wouldn't be able to buy out, and we'd all probably die, and that'd be terrible, wouldn't it? Our pavement's brilliant. If you think about it, right, if we didn't have them, everywhere'd just be one big road. And we'd probably keep getting run over all the time, and we'd all die. That'd be terrible, wouldn't it? I mean, really terrible. In the sky, brilliant. I mean, where does it end? Fantastic. Just follow the fly. Brilliant. Glasses, megaphones, mountains, chairs, dinosaurs, telly, music, cars, trains, hats and gloves, shoes, zebras, Eric Cantona, adverts, posters and that, calendars, roofs, umbrellas, caravans, pancakes, that clingy stuff, cling film, yeah. Yeah, magazines, outer space, and chocolate. Oh, brilliant! Aunt Mam's brilliant. They give birth to you. You know, they have you and that. And then they look after you for as long as you want. You don't have to pay them on now. Fantastic. In fact, they pay you. Pocket money and that. You know, brilliant. And they've got this special magic way of putting your socks on where they turn them half inside out. Great. I love Mams. They're brilliant. And they're all different, which is brilliant. Because if they all look the same, you wouldn't know which house to go to for your tea. That'd be terrible, wouldn't it? Might not be ready at the time you normally have it. Dads are all right, but Mums are better. Mums are softer, and they smell better, and they do the cooking. Have you seen them new cookers called microwaves, where everything takes just 1 minute to cook? 1 minute! Your dinner, your snack, your tea even. Just 1 minute. Or your breakfast if you want. 1 minute breakfast, fantastic. Microwaves, brilliant. But you can't put metal in them. I don't know why. Hello, they're brilliant. Aren't goodbyes brilliant? They're fantastic, aren't they? So, well, you know, bye, ta-ta. In the universe, brilliant. I mean, it's so profoundly big, and there's so much in it. I mean, not like IKEA, it's bigger than that, and more profound.
I'm 48 years old and I still live with me mum. Brilliant!
Ain't the Mafia brilliant? They're fantastic, aren't they? You know, the Nosa Nostra, the Nostra, the Mafia. Anyway, I think they're about the most highly organised of all the organised crime organisations. They really are organised. And the brilliant thing about them is, if they do you a favour, you have to do them one back. Otherwise, I don't know, they might blow up your car, if you've got one. Or they might make you sleep with a fish. Or put some kind of animal in your bed, anyway. I'm not sure of the exact technical terminology. They might make you support a motorway or give you a concrete overcoat, which would be brilliant, but probably a bit heavy to work in, you know. I mean, the triads are all right, but they haven't had the same impact as the Mafia, who are brilliant.
Brilliant. I mean, imagine if we didn't have them. Everything would just be in a big pile on the floor, you know, a dirty, great big pile. I mean, hooks are good. Hooks are useful.
But you couldn't hang books on an hook, could you?
All kinds of soup.
No. As long as we've got gravity, we'll need shelves.
In gravity, brilliant. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Well, you know, it's not like I wander around going, "Ain't gravity brilliant?" all the time. Well, I do, you know. But it's not that it's brilliant, it's more that it's useful.
You know, it's good at holding us down. In fact, it's the best thing we've got for holding us down.
I mean, imagine life without gravity. I mean, imagine going to the toilet
Without gravity, it'd be terrible, wouldn't it? Go on, imagine it.
See? Ain't the Mafia brilliant? They're fantastic, aren't they? You know, the Nosa Nostra, the Nostra, the Mafia. Anyway, I think they're about the most highly organised of all the organised crime organisations. They really are organised. And the brilliant thing about them is, if they do you a favour, you have to do them one back. Otherwise, I don't know, they might blow up your car, if you've got one. Or they might make you sleep with a fish. Or put some kind of animal in your bed, anyway. I'm not sure of the exact technical terminology. They might make you support a motorway or give you a concrete overcoat, which would be brilliant, but probably a bit heavy to work in, you know. I mean, the triads are all right, but they haven't had the same impact as the Mafia, who are brilliant!
Well, yesterday, brilliant. It was fantastic, wasn't it? Tomorrow's going to be great as well. I mean, today's all right, but I don't know. It's got a note on yesterday. There was just something brilliant about it.
I think it was even better than last Wednesday.
Yeah, you know, which started off
Brilliant. Tailed off a little bit in the afternoon and then picked up again in the evening.
But yesterday was just solid, 100% relentless, all day, non-stop.
Brilliant! Fantastic! Brilliant!
I kept going,
blimey, this is too brilliant!
but it just was, you know, it was just good. See that? That wouldn't have happened yesterday.
Aren't old people brilliant? What they are, right, is young people who've been around for a really long time, like years and years. And what happens is, right, the longer they live, the more clothes they put on. Yeah, you see them on really hot days, you know, wearing coats, brilliant. 2 coats at a time. They cackle, moan about the war, and then they die. Fantastic!
Insects, brilliant. It's fantastic, isn't it? You know, having it off. It's brilliant.
I've done it about 100 times now, yeah, maybe more, with my girlfriend. Sex, it's brilliant. Apart from clearing up all the mess afterwards, you know, all the wood and that. I feel sorry for people who haven't had it off, you know, because it's fantastic. Except, first couple of times, I really hurt my goalies. Art wars, fantastic. What happens, right, is your country invades another country, kills half of them, and the other half, whoever's left, you get to order about, you know, you tell them to do exactly what you want. Brilliant. Like, you could say, I don't know, make us a cup of tea, now! And they'd have to do it. Brilliant. But, you know, thinking about it, you know, I mean... In fact, we used to do what they want. My dad reckons we shouldn't have fought the Germans at all. And that...